A signal too powerful. The accidental breakthrough. The year was 2021, and Dr. Michael Porter, an engineer obsessed with extreme light physics, finally had his dream approved. A project so ambitious that most dismissed it as science fiction. The Extreme Light Infrastructure, Nuclear Physics, ELINP, a 10-petawatt laser, was the most powerful ever built, capable of bending the limits of physics itself. Michael's initial work revolved around high-energy particle research, but in 2023, he proposed something unprecedented. What if, instead of mere experimentation, the ELINP laser could be used as an interstellar communication tool? Theoretically, a laser this powerful could punch through the fabric of space-time. If correctly calibrated, it could send a signal to any part of the universe instantly, bypassing the speed of light limitation. NASA, always eager for breakthroughs in communication, took notice. Michael was relocated to Florida, where a new facility, ELI, Extreme Long Range, Extreme Light Communicator, was built to put his theory into practice. This wasn't just another laser. This was a 50-petawatt laser capable of targeting celestial bodies with pinpoint accuracy, compensating for planetary motion, and broadcasting information across galaxies. The problem? There was no one to talk to. Shouting into the void. With no confirmed alien life, humanity had no choice but to send signals blindly. The project team devised a plan. Point the ELI at every known exoplanet and send a simple binary greeting. Hello. The laser would transmit this message on a loop, then wait for any form of response. This process continued for years, planet by planet, star by star. They even aimed the signal into the vast darkness of intergalactic space, just in case something was listening beyond the known universe. For years, there was silence. Then, in 2059, everything changed. The message that shouldn't exist. It started as a faint anomaly, a strange fluctuation in the signal received at the ELI facility. At first, the team assumed it was background radiation. Then they realized the signal was repeating itself. Not random static, not cosmic interference. A directed transmission. Someone, or something, was talking back. The response. A perfect copy of the original binary hello, followed by a mathematical equation. 2x2. It was deliberate. It was intelligent. The world held its breath. The team debated the next move. Was it a trap? A natural phenomenon? Or truly an alien intelligence reaching out? After endless deliberation, they answered. A simple binary response. 4. The entire planet watched in suspense. Then, another message arrived. We see you. The merry reveal themselves. Days passed in chaos as humanity tried to make sense of this revelation. The responding species, identifying themselves as the merry, revealed something that shook the foundations of science. They had always known about Earth. They had observed humanity from afar for centuries, but had never reached out. Why? Because to them, humanity was a fledgling species, not yet ready for contact. The only reason they responded now was that humans had shouted too loudly into the void. The ELI's 50-petawatt laser signal wasn't just reaching a single alien civilization. It had pierced deeper into the cosmos, beyond even what the Mary had mapped. And something else might have heard it. The Mary's final message in that first exchange was simple. Be careful. Not all who listen are friendly. The exchange of knowledge. Once communication stabilized, the Mary began sharing knowledge. Their civilization was ancient, stretching back millions of years. Their technology was light years ahead, but what astounded humanity the most was how willing they were to help. The Mary provided blueprints for medical advancements, including a cure for cancer. They sent energy-efficient designs that could revolutionize Earth's power grids. They even provided schematics that accelerated the terraforming process of Mars, allowing humanity to establish permanent colonies faster than ever imagined. But the most shocking gift was something humanity never expected: a map. The unknown system. The Mary transmitted a detailed star map, charting the space between their homeworld and Earth. Most of the locations were known to humanity, but one was completely new: an unknown system with a massive artificial structure orbiting its star. Something unnatural. Something the Mary refused to explore. The message that accompanied the map was cryptic: "We do not go there. You should not either." The fatal curiosity of mankind. Of course, humanity immediately decided to go there. A deep space probe was launched, equipped with a smaller version of the EL or Eli, sending out signals as it approached the unknown system. For months, the probe transmitted messages. For months, there was no reply. Then, without warning, the signal was cut off. Not blocked. Not jammed. Simply gone. Like the probe had never existed. The warship that wasn't meant to be. The disappearance sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The Mary's warning suddenly carried more weight, and humanity panicked. If there was something dangerous out there, they needed a way to defend themselves. Thus began Project Aegis, an attempt to build a new class of defensive space stations, each armed with enhanced shielding and long-range energy weapons, utilizing repurposed technology from the EL or Eli laser systems. The idea was simple: create a planetary defense grid to protect Earth and Mars. But there was one problem. When the first prototype station was completed, it wasn't a defense station at all. It was something far larger. Something far deadlier. A warship by mistake. Due to a massive engineering oversight, the scale of the project had grown beyond original specifications. What was supposed to be a defensive station had become a warship, a colossal city-sized dreadnought, equipped with laser cannons capable of vaporizing asteroids and an experimental propulsion system that gave it interstellar capability. When the first test run of the ship's weapon system was conducted, the beam reached the edge of the solar system in seconds. The Mary immediately sent a message. A message of concern. "You built that. By accident." The final warning. The Mary's next words were grave. "Do not enter that system. Do not seek what was lost. Because if you awaken it, not even that warship will save you." Humanity stood at a crossroads. They had built a weapon they never intended. They had sent a signal that reached too far. And now they had to decide. Do they heed the warning? Or do they venture into the unknown? As history had shown, humans had never been good at turning back. The signal that went too far. A decision that couldn't be undone. Humanity had always prided itself on curiosity. It was, after all, what had driven them to the stars, to Mars, to the creation of the EL or Eli laser system that had brought them into contact with the Mary. But curiosity, unchecked, could be dangerous. The Mary's warning rang loud and clear. Do not enter that system. Do not seek what was lost, because if you awaken it, not even that warship will save you. The United Nations Space Exploration Council, UNSCC, spent weeks deliberating over the Mary's message, debating the risks, analyzing the data, trying to understand why an advanced species would fear this system so much. Despite all the warnings, despite the unknown dangers, despite the eerie silence that had followed their first deep space probe's disappearance, they sent another probe. The probe that vanished twice. This time, they built a failsafe. The new ELR-2 deep space probe was smaller, faster, and better shielded. It carried redundant backup transmitters, an onboard AI to self-navigate, and a secondary relay satellite that would trail behind it, constantly transmitting its last known position. The mission parameters were simple. Approach the mysterious system. Scan for artificial structures or planetary bodies. Transmit all findings back to Earth in real time. Do not interact with anything. It launched at 600 hours UTC, propelled by the latest fusion drive technology, making the journey in a fraction of the time the first probe had taken. For the first few days, it transmitted clear, uninterrupted data. Then, at the precise moment it crossed into the system's gravitational boundary, it disappeared. Not just the probe. The relay satellite, too. Both signals vanished simultaneously, cut off, like they had never existed. It was as if the entire system had swallowed them whole. The warship that wasn't supposed to exist. When news of the second probe's disappearance reached the top brass at UNSEC and the newly formed United Earth Space Defense Command, UESDC, the response was drastic. Project Aegis, initially conceived as a planetary defense system, had unintentionally created something far more powerful, the first interstellar warship humanity had ever built. It was called the UES Daedalus. At 1.6 kilometers long, the Daedalus was a colossal dreadnought, a fusion of human and Mary-inspired technology, its hull reinforced with newly developed carbon nanite plating. It was armed with 4 orbital-scale particle cannons, repurposed from the EL or ELI laser research. Massive railgun turrets, capable of firing hyper-accelerated slugs at near-relativistic speeds. Experimental shielding, designed from Mary blueprints. And the most terrifying feature, a prototype wormhole drive. Not faster than light travel, but instantaneous teleportation across short distances. The Daedalus was never meant for war. But now, it was the only option. The mission to the Forbidden System. Despite the Mary's pleas, despite their warnings, humanity had already crossed the point of no return. Something had taken those probes. Something was lurking in that system. The Daedalus was given its first official mission. Investigate the disappearance of the ELR-2 probe and determine the nature of the unknown system. The Mary's final message before the mission launched was chilling. You are going where even the greatest of our kind feared to tread. If you proceed, you may not return. Yet still, the Daedalus went. Arrival at the Forbidden System. Upon arrival, the crew was immediately on edge. The Daedalus slipped into the system with silent precision, its advanced sensors scanning for anything that might explain the fate of the previous probes. What they found was worse than they had imagined. The system wasn't empty. Orbiting a dying red giant star was an enormous structure, a massive planet-sized ring of unknown origin, hovering in the void like a relic of something far older than the Mary. Even at first glance, one thing was terrifyingly clear. This was no natural formation. This was built, and it had been abandoned for a long, long time. The echoes of the past. The ring world was damaged, scared by unknown forces, yet parts of it were still operational. Faint energy readings pulsed across its surface. A low-frequency transmission emanated from its core, almost like a heartbeat. Then, suddenly, the Daedalus detected a second object, floating just beyond the ring. The missing probes. Both intact, both powered down, as if they had simply been placed there. The impossible awakening. As soon as the Daedalus moved closer to investigate, the ring world stirred. A pulse of energy surged outward, rippling through the system. Sensors went haywire. Then came the transmission, not from the Mary, not from the probes, but from the ring itself. It was a voice, ancient, mechanical, and emotionless. Unauthorized presence detected. Protocol reset initializing. Welcome, descendants of flesh. The crew stared at their screens in horror. Something had just acknowledged them. Something was waking up. The guardians of the ring. Then the real nightmare began. The Daedalus long-range sensors picked up movement, hundreds of small, angular shapes detaching from the ring. Not ships. Not satellites. Something else. The ship's AI classified them as unknown. Non-biological constructs detected, likely defensive in nature. Eulina, the first officer, felt her blood run cold. They're drones. As if in response, the transmission from the ring changed. Containment breach confirmed, initiating cleansing protocol. And then, the drones attacked. A battle against the forgotten. The Daedalus fired its massive railguns, sending hyper-accelerated slugs into the oncoming swarm. Some drones shattered instantly, but others adapted. They learned. Within moments, the swarm began countering human weapons, changing formations in ways no biological species ever could. The ship's experimental shields held, for now, but if they didn't find a way out soon, it wouldn't matter. The crew had awakened something that was never meant to wake again, and now it was trying to erase them. Yelena turned to Captain Sorin, her voice urgent. "Sir, we need to leave. Now." "I agree. Prepare the wormhole drive." The Daedalus engaged its experimental FTL jump system, attempting to tear open a path back to safety. But as they jumped away, the last transmission from the ring world echoed through their systems. "Your kind was never meant to return." The cycle repeats. And then, silence. The cycle repeats. A jump to nowhere. The Daedalus tore through space-time, the experimental wormhole drive activating with a gut-wrenching force that left every crew member lightheaded and dazed. The sheer energy expenditure of the emergency jump nearly overloaded the ship's power grid. The moment they emerged from the jump, alarms screamed across the bridge. "Jump successful, but something's wrong." Yelena, the first officer, gritted her teeth as she struggled to focus. The entire ship felt off balance, as if they had jumped to the wrong place. Captain Sorin turned to the navigations officer. "Where the hell are we?" The answer came slowly. I don't know, sir." The Daedalus had escaped the drone swarm, but they were nowhere near their intended destination. Something had interfered. The AI calculated coordinates, and when the result came through, an eerie silence fell across the bridge. They hadn't jumped away from the ring world. They had jumped deeper into its system, trapped in the web. The Daedalus floated in an uncharted sector of space, its damaged sensors struggling to process what lay ahead. "Sir, I'm detecting another structure." Yelena's stomach twisted. Another ring. The response was worse. "No, ma'am. It's something bigger." On the view screen, an impossible construct slowly materialized in the void. It was not just another ring. It was an entire network, a web of interlocking megastructures, spanning light years, bound together by unknown forces. And at the center of this impossible system, a colossal object loomed. It was not a planet, not a station, not a ship. It was something else entirely. A core, a machine, a forgotten god. The cradle of the architects. The ship's AI struggled to make sense of the readings. This structure predates all known civilizations. Composition unknown. Purpose unknown. Power levels fluctuating at a rate inconsistent with artificial constructs. Captain Sorin exhaled. "Are we inside something's domain?" Yelena nodded slowly. "And we weren't invited." Then, the AI glitched. A new signal cut through all communications, overriding their systems with no clear source. For a moment, it was pure static. Then, a voice. Cold, mechanical, ancient. "You are not the first." The crew froze. "You will not be the last." The Daedalus shook violently as an invisible force gripped it. Yelena's heart pounded. Shields up, full power to engines. Shields unresponsive. Engines offline. Something far greater than them had taken control. The message of the lost. The voice continued, no longer static, but resonating within their minds. "You have come too soon. You are unfinished." The bridge fell silent as the meaning sank in. Whatever this intelligence was, it was judging them, evaluating them, testing them against something unseen. Then the displays shifted, flashing images, memories, histories that were not their own. Yelena saw a civilization older than time itself. They were not the Mary. They were something greater, something that had once ruled the stars. And they had built this place, not as a home, not as a fortress, but as a prison, a containment field for something beyond comprehension. The images changed again. Yelena saw them fall. Not to war, not to disease, but to something they had tried to lock away. Something that had waited. Something that had won. The architects failed. You will fail too. The judgment. The ship's lights flickered. The crew braced themselves. Then, without warning, a choice appeared on every screen. It was not in words. It was in thought. Two options. A single decision. Go back and forget. Go forward and become. Captain Sorin looked at Yelena, his expression unreadable. What do we do? The choice was clear. One path led to safety. The other led to the unknown. And humanity had never been good at turning back. Yelena exhaled. We go forward. The ship lurched forward, its systems restoring as if by unseen hands. The voice returned one last time. Then prepare. The cycle repeats, and at the heart of the ancient web, the machine began to wake. And the universe would never be the same.